Yo, what's going on, guys? Azanay here from Azanay Gaming Tips. Today in this video, we'll be showing you guys a beast of a $600 gaming PC build. This will showcase a high-end graphics card, mid-range beast gaming CPU, and decent motherboard, memory, hard drive, and a case. I'm talking 40 to 65 frames per second in most of the games with really good settings and really good frame rates as said above. But you'll have to tweak settings a bit in Visual 3 Wild Hunt with NVIDIA HRX off, but still with NVIDIA HRX on, you'll be getting 20 to 25 FPS. That is wicked for a $600 gaming PC. When we talk about the benchmarks of this rig, in Grand Theft Auto 5 Ultra settings 50 to 60 frames per second, in Crysis 3 Ultra settings 30 to 45 frames per second, in Visual 3 Ultra settings 30 to 40 frames per second. Now this rig is about $595, but you have $30 mail rebate for you'll get $569. So for simplicity, I get it for $600 gaming PC. This is a fantastic rig if you want to max out games, most of the games with really good frame rates and really good settings. Now let's get into it without any further ado. For the CPU, I chose the AMD FX 6300 3.5 GHz hexa-core processor. This processor is about $99 and is a beast mid-range gaming CPU out there. Now you guys might be thinking that why didn't I go with the i3 4370 or an i5 4440 quad core and dual core processors, even though i3 has hyper-threading technology. Yes, there are also an option, but they're a bit costly than AMD processor. But this as this is $600 PC build, AMD CPU is the best choice. This cannot only stop with gaming but can also do live streaming, editing, and rendering, as this is some better. AMD CPUs FX series are better than i5 gaming processor, as they're specialized for i5 processors. So if you're going for a video editing and gaming CPU, I'll go recommend the i7 4790K or 5820K, as they're beast in video editing, beast in live streaming, beast in rendering, and beast in gaming. But as a $600 gaming PC, AMD CPU is the best choice. This is clocked at 3.5 GHz, so you can stick with the stock CPU cooler. This is an hexa-core CPU and has 8 MB cache, all in all a beast in mid-range gaming CPU. Now for the motherboard, I went with the Asus M5 A97 R2.0 AM3 Plus ATX motherboard. It's about $93. Mesh motherboard around $100 out there. It has 4 RAM slots allowing up to 32 gigs of maximum DDR3 RAM running at 2133 MHz. It has RAID support, no SLI support, but it's got crossfire support. For motherboard less than $100, crossfire support is a beast of a thing. So this rig can max out most games. As you see, 6 out of 6 gigabit ports and has 3 USB 3.0 ports. Solid motherboard for $93. Now for the memory, I went with the Corsair Vengeance 8 gigabytes of RAM, 24 gigabytes of sticks, DDR3 1600 MHz for $42. For $42, just 8 gigs of RAM is a hell of a deal. Now I did not go with the 16 gigs of RAM or the 4 gigs of RAM, as 4 gigs is less when we see the minimum PC requirements for most of the games, as 4 is a bit less, and 16 is not even required for most of the new gen games, as they might recommend 16 gigs of RAM, as for example in the Star Wars Battlefront they recommended 16 gigs of RAM, but they're not actually required. Most of them play in 8 gigs of RAM and you get really good settings and really good frame rates. So this memory is more than enough for $42 and it's the best out there. Now for the storage, I went with the Western Carrier Digital Brew 1TB 3.5 inch 7200 RPM internal hard drive at $50. Did not fit in SSD, as it was not required, as this is $600 PC build. We cannot actually fit in SSD, and I would personally recommend not going for an SSD when you're in gaming, as you cannot increase any frame rates or a bit, maybe 5 to 6 frame rates, and you can't just max out settings. If you are not going for video editing, I would not recommend an SSD. But if you're going for video editing and gaming at the same time, a PC rig, then I would guys recommend going for an SSD, because it can boot up things, most of the things, very fast. Now for the heart of this build, the beast graphics card, I went with an MSI GeForce GTX 964 gigs of DDR5 memory. Configuration, it's clocked at 1.18 gigahertz. It's available for $224 and it's got $15 mail rebate. For $224, the graphics card is a beast and can easily cope up with our FX 6300 CPU. This graphic card is the beast in gaming, as said before. It can max out every games and it can cope up with most of the games which is coming at the new gen games. And trust me, this graphics card is the best you can get for $600. Getting a graphics card GTX 960 for $600 gaming PC build is very likely, but this is the best graphics card out there for $600. Now for the power supply, I went with the Corsair C6 430 volt 80 plus bronze certified ATX power supply. This is about $49 and has $20 main rebate. Didn't go for the 500 volt, as was not required. The total power consumption of the whole rig was 284 volt, so 430 watt is more than enough. Now for the case, I went with the Thermaltake VL8000 1W2Z ATX mid-tower case for $38 and it's got $1 mail rebate. well, we don't need an extra awesome case, but this case out there for $38 is more than enough. So all in all, this $600 rig is the beast. You can max out most of the games with pretty good frame rates and pretty good settings. As mentioned before, the benchmarks of this rig is fantastic for $600 gaming PC build. You can cope with this rig for more 5 years, or let's just say 8 years. So guys, this is for this video. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and my other channel. Azanay will be showing you the most of the walkthroughs with pretty good rig. As I said, I'll be getting my rig in a pretty 1 month or 1.5 month, and that rig is gonna be my ultimate rig. I'll be showing you guys my PC rig for that. So if you like this video, please be definitely sure to subscribe this channel, Azanay Gaming Tips and Azanay, and share to your friends, like this video. So guys, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys next one. Peace out.